Alright, we're at it again, guys and gals. Excuse me. As we look here today, we're going to take what we learned yesterday and extend it a little bit further. In the past, you guys have had an equation for area of a circle, area of a square, area of a rectangle, area of a triangle, area of all these different shapes. But we've never had an area equation for shapes bigger than 4 sides. Today we do, under a certain stipulation. That stipulation is it's got to be a regular polygon. So all these sides have to be the same and all the angles have to be the same. When we do that, we end up using this equation, and I like the second one. We use area equals 1/2 A times N times S. You probably are going to hear me today say 1/2 ASN. That's how I learned it. So A, so we understand A is the apothem. So this one is going to be our hectic part. That one we're going to usually need to do some work with to find. N is my number of sides. S is my side length. Okay. So your apothem is your hectic part. Goes from the center to the middle of the edge. N is your number of sides, so you just count up how many sides does it have. S is how long that side is. And again, apothem, you're going to have to do some math work. So here we go. A regular nonagon means N, is inscribed in a circle with a radius of 4 units. Find the area of the nonagon. Find the area of the nonagon. So when I do this, what I like to do is I like to identify my A, my S, and my N. Well, I don't know my apothem yet. I don't know my side length. And I don't know my number of sides. Oh, excuse me, I do know my number of sides. It's a nonagon, so it's 9 sides. So this leaves me with this triangle that looks like this. This is 4. I know this angle here. I know that angle is just simply my central angle divided by 2. So I can take 360 divided by 4, which is, 360 divided by 9. Just thinking a little ahead, which is 40. Divide that by 2, you get 20. So I kind of go like this, so I keep everything apart. So I know this angle here is 20. So now I've just got to do trig ratios to find my A. I'm going to switch that up. I'm going to call it my B value. And my C value. Given that is my angle. So I'm just going to start. This is my B is my opposite. 4 is my hypotenuse, so I know that sine of 20 equals B over 4. I'm going to just throw that 4 in front of the bus. So 4 sine of 20, typed it in my calculator, gives me 1.4. But now, this is where I got to be a little bit careful. I know this part is 1.4. I know this part is 1.4. So I know that whole side length is 2.8. Oop, and I've got to pull that down. That is not my apothem. That's my side length. So I know my side length is 2.8. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go like this. Now if I do C is my adjacent, 4 is my hypotenuse, so I'm going to use cosine of 20 equals C over 4. Throw the 4 in front of the bus. So 4 cosine 20 is 3.8. So my apothem here is 3.8. So now I can work this problem out. My area is 1/2 ASN. So 1/2 times 3.8 times 2.8 times 9. So I'm going to take 0.5 times 3.8 times 2.8 times 9. I get 47.9. I gotta look up units squared. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Gals, I'm back now. There's a little break there. So this one here, you are decorating the top of a table by covering it with small ceramic tiles. Tabletop is a regular octagon with 15-inch sides and a radius of about 19.6 inches. What is the area you are covering? So again, first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to identify my A, my S, my N. I don't know my apothem. I don't know from the center to the middle of a side. I know my side length is 15. And I know my number of sides, it's an octagon, so 8. So that says I can figure out my apothem. I'm going to make this a little bit easier for you guys to see what we have here. I know my apothem is here. I know half of 15 is 7.5. So now this is straight Pythagorean theorem to find my apothem. I know 19.6 squared equals a squared plus 7.5 squared. So 19.6 squared is 384.2. 7.5 squared is 56.3. I can subtract it. So when I subtract here, 384.2 minus 56.3, I get 327.9 equals a squared. Take the square root. I get 18.1. So I know my apothem is 18.1. So now I can go through and find my area. Area equals 1/2 ASN 1/2 18.1 times 15 times 8. So 0.5 times 18.1 times 15 times 8 is 1,086 inches squared. Biggest problem on this one, guys, gals, a lot of people will see 19.6, say, hey, that's my apothem. It's not my apothem. That is my radius. It goes from the center to a corner, center to a vertex, and not center to a side. Okay. Last one. I got two here. So we're going to find the area of the regular polygon. I've got my apothem here, luckily. Apothem is 6.5. I do not know my side length, and number of sides is 5. But what I see here is I have the Pythagorean theorem. I can run through the Pythagorean theorem to find the side length. So I know 8 squared equals 6.5 squared plus b squared. So I'm just going to simply take 8 squared minus 6.5 squared. I get 21.8. Take the square root. Square root of 21.8 is 4.7. I know my side length is 4.7. So now I can just find my area. Area equals 1/2 my apothem times my side length times my number of sides. So 0.5 times 6.5 times 4.7 times 5. So that's 76.4. That's a bad 4. 76.4 units squared. Now as I do this last one here, can't really move it. I'm going to identify my apothem. I don't know what that is. I know my side length is 7. And if I count the number of sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I know my side lengths are 10. So now, when I start to find my apothem here, I'm looking that I'm going to have to do some trig ratio, just a trig ratio. So when I look at this triangle here, I see that I have half of a central angle. So when I draw this triangle, I know this would be 360 divided by 10, which is 36, divided by 2 is 18. So I know that angle is 18. I know my apothem is right here. And I know my side length right here is 3.5. 3.5, because that's half of 7. So now I can just take tan of 18 equals 3.5 over a. We're going to play a game of flip-flop. So 3.5 divided by tan 18 gives me 10.8. So I know my apothem is 10.8. So now I can find the area. Area equals 1/2 a, so 10.8 times my side lengths, which are 7, times my number of sides, which is 10. So 0.5 times 10.8 times 7 times 10. So this is 378 units squared. 378 units squared. This stuff is tough. This stuff is probably the toughest stuff you guys are going to get from me the rest of the chapter. Tomorrow, what my plan would be is you guys not to have homework. I'm going to show you guys the homework, but not to have homework. And I want to try to figure out a way that I can get on so you guys can talk with me if we have questions on your homework. So your homework will be tomorrow is 614, page 614, number 19 through 24. Just working those out. All right. You guys have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow online. Goodbye.